Let's talk about it. Shall we? Operation Freedom, the result of Operation Fury, epic fail. Ridiculousness, nasty work. And I get it. Sometimes you got to try something. Whether you succeed or fail, you got to try something. In this particular case, the United States, it looked like they was busting a couple of moves. Because you got parallel events going on at the same time. Number one, you got the New World Order going on. That's kicking off. Whether anybody likes it or not, that's definitely going down. It's kicking off. And that is not done by the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. That is done by people who run the Department of Defense and the Pentagon, right? So that's, when we talk about tiers of globalism, those commands are given up on a higher scale, higher echelon. Same time, you got people running around trying to make sure that we fit in. It's like musical chairs. When the music does stop, where will America be? Where will America be? That's good. So I think when the music stopped, we wanted to have enough oil. We wanted to, this is why we started running around doing ridiculous stuff. Kidnapping presidents. We started doing ridiculous stuff, right? We wanted to be in a certain position. When the music stopped, we wanted enough oil. And we took Venezuela so easy. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing for somebody to come in and kidnap your president. I've never heard of such ridiculousness. It made them look like they were primitive bushmen, right? Like, we could see why the Native Americans were wiped out. They didn't have the technology. They didn't have the weapons. And they just couldn't. But in the year 2025 of our Lord, how is anybody just 6 men ran into your country and kidnapped your president? Crazy. Crazy. If you haven't heard, President Trump has announced a pause on Operation Freedom, which we wasn't successful at anyway. We wasn't. I don't know why he's announcing a pause. You sucked at protecting any ships. Our own ships were attacked. Our warships were attacked by Iran. And then that's when you guys called the actual, hey, we're going to just calm things down right now. The rhetoric is all over the place. You know what I came on to say? I came on to say one thing. Lives were taken. People lost their lives. American soldiers lost their lives. Israel soldiers lost their lives. Lebanon people lost their lives. Iranian people lost their lives. And nothing was resolved. Nothing was resolved. Nothing got accomplished, especially for America or Israel. And it's one of the most evilest things I'm witnessing. Not just that war. When I say evil, I'm talking about the mentality of people, the mentality of entities down here on this earth. Because I don't believe that all of these entities are even Homo sapien sapien, right? So we're dealing with a lot of things. We're dealing with different entities from different planets down here, disguised, masqueraded as Homo sapiens sapiens, bloodthirsty entities that apparently are becoming more reckless on whether on their obscurity, right? They don't really care. They're getting to that point where they don't care that you know they exist. They're getting to that point. Sometimes I've had OCD, obsessive thoughts where I have to get this done. There's nothing. I've had that, but never in a negative. Never negative. Unless I'm in revenge mode. But you gotta ask yourself, why would Israel be in revenge mode? It's not that they're in revenge mode. It's this whole greater Israel project that they really want to expand Israel. So they're in some type of obsessive thoughts disorder mode where they can't see anything but the expansion of Israel. And I've always said these people should have never had a place to begin with. It is kind of confusing how Trump and this whole administration is cow tipping and bowing down to Israel. I see YouTube is suppressing the numbers because they don't like this type of rhetoric. It doesn't matter. This is why I started my own channel on Roku, and I'm building it up. I'll announce it when it's ready. I'm building it up. I'm developing it myself right now because there's so many people that want to control and censor the conversations, and it's so that we don't mobilize as a people. I fully understand the tactics. I just wanted them to know that I know, so they know that I know, and I want you to know and understand what's going on in the world today. It's a ball of confusion if you don't understand it. So at the end of the day, they thought the United States and Israel thought they was going to take Iran like they took Venezuela. Get the oil. He really thought it was going to be that easy because he started drinking his own Kool-Aid because of how easy the Venezuela operation went. But that was a joke. Venezuela's infrastructure, you could clearly see, like visibly. You could Google some things on Venezuela and just a novice, a third grader could just look and see how their electrical power lines are set up to kind of see like, yo, this is, they still kind of simple. Why you would attack Iran based off how you treated Venezuela is crazy to me. But it's not crazy when you think about you firing all of the military lawyers and relieving most of the generals of their duty. That's when it doesn't get, that's when it starts to make sense. Like, oh, you want to be in a room full of idiots that don't know nothing because they can't tell you no. Well, I can tell you this, America, or whoever I'm talking to, because YouTube keeps suppressing the numbers and pushing them back down, which is okay for me. I got things to do. I don't even need to be on here. You do that. You keep doing that, YouTube. I just leave. I don't care. This is a small break. I'm at work getting money. You've never paid me enough to change my life. I come on here to talk to the people so that we can mobilize. And have forms of communication with each other. Have brain idea parties. That's why I come on here. You know, share the knowledge. So I don't care if you suppress. Whatever. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Trump sounds like an idiot every time he talks. Declaring victory. Hegseth sounds like an idiot, a jester, a fool, an imbecile. Declaring victory. What operation, what objectives did we meet? That's what I would like to know. Did we meet our objectives? If yes, what were they? Because clearly this could not have anything to do with nuclear bombs, because Iran was willing, before you killed the Khamenei, they was willing to stop their nuclear program and their enrichment endeavors. They was willing. Then you did something where it's like, now you can't leave. And here's the thing: if you think that Iran just forgot that you killed their Khamenei, nobody forgot nothing, and they definitely didn't forget you killed those innocent girls in that school, right? So we brag about having the most powerful satellites in space, which is why we have a what number now? 5th or 6th military branch. You got Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force. So Space Force is the addition. So either Space Force, you got to ask yourself, why do we need Space Force? We have Air Force. Why would we need Space Force? Well, either we need Space Force to protect the satellites that we have up there, protect us from invading entities, extraterrestrials, which I think is both. But let's get back to our satellites. Our satellites are supposed to be top tier. We can see things with precision, and we can attack things with precision. I know this because they've announced it. If that is the case, then that tells me it wasn't an accident of you killing schoolgirls in Iran. Schoolgirls, children. But it tells me that's where you was willing to go. That's where you was willing to do. You wanted to intimidate them and let them know, hey, we're ferocious animals and we will annihilate you. You know, that type of behavior. And where did it get you? It ultimately got you looking like the savages you are, so the whole world could now see. Those girls paid the price. So now the whole world could see, Israel, you are an animal. We don't want to hear anything about your anti-Semitic rants. Anytime someone disagrees with Israel, they have to be anti-Semitic. We don't want to hear no more about that. In fact, you are barbarians. In fact. Which you come from barbarians, Khazarians. Yeah. You are out here masquerading as another people who were the original Judeans. You've attempted to take their identity. Genetic testing makes it hard to do that when everyone can see you are clearly not related to the ancient Judeans. So then who are you people? You are the descendants of the barbaric Khazarians is who you are. That's evident. Claiming land, the United States thought it was a good idea on paper. Hey, give them some land. The excuse would be that this is their holy land. Give them some land over there, then we could have geographic positioning in our favor if we got an ally over there. It all sounded good on paper. It sounded great. I don't think United States never considered that these people would become so strong financially. Influence-wise. Like they could just add people at any time, right? Because it's not a race thing. Even though the hypocrisy, they try to make it seem like it's a race, we're a race. You're not a race. It was supposed to be a religion. If you want to be a race, tell the people who you are. If you want to be, let the people know, hey, we're really Khazarians. We was just bullshitting. We wanted to see how long we could play a joke on you guys. Ha ha. But you guys are just adding people to your group willy-nilly. Fucking willy-nilly. Trump's daughter, who I assume was a Christian before she married Jared Kushner, is now a fucking Jew. Amazing. Amazing. Jared Kushner is bidding on behalf of Israel and representing the state of Israel, and Trump is directly related to this guy. Through marriage. It's a lot of influence. Our politicians, please check and see if your politicians are one of these politicians who are doing the bidding and taking the money from Israel, right? Because we have to start, I think that's what we have to do. That's one of the things we can do. We can start putting pressure on our political representation who do go to, is a part of the Congress, our senators, our House of Representatives. We can put pressure on them and articulate in letters that how displeased we are. If you can garner some other signatures, I don't know if any time on earth was a good time, like had a good time, because you have so many, you have entities down here that disrupt. It doesn't have to be this hard on earth. It does not. I think the fear is if you don't slow down the population, if life is too good, then what's going to happen is people are going to continue to have children, have families, and that's going to be, that rate is going to be way faster at what we can actually operate at. Which makes sense if you do think about it. That's just science and math and physics and probably some other types of different math. But regardless, logically, that makes sense and rationally. Is our logistics, one, do we have enough resources to accommodate everyone? Is our logistics set up for families to explode in growth? So I believe that there are meetings that are held, like your Bilderberg groups, right? And they discuss these things. This one is held for review. Let's just see what that says. Oh, I don't know why they blocked that. It says women aren't having children like they used to. As they shouldn't, because the concept of a family has been attacked. The family has been under attack. So the encouragement of homosexuality has been marketed and advertised and encouraged, right? And it's been encouraged generations ago. So those young generations are now indoctrinated. If we would have left them alone, more than likely, they would have became, they would have been heterosexual. But they were influenced, many of them. You have all type of medicine that will encourage someone's choice. All type of things we've been hit with scientifically, psychologically, to encourage people to become homosexuals. That's only one. These think tanks have done an amazing job, if you do think about it. Then they had psyops in place where they would pay women. They would put women in position rather than men, right? to demasculate. I know the word is emasculate, but I don't really know what that word means. I know what D means, so I just use demasculate. But I know I'm probably supposed to be using emasculate. But we're going to use D. To demasculate men. Now, that tactic has been used a lot amongst Negroes. Give their women jobs, not so much the men, to shift the balance within the family, right? Cause slight irritation. You ever heard of death by 1,000 paper cuts? Right? Or consider this, which weighs more, a pound of gold or a pound of feathers? Now, obviously, you've been asked this question before and you know the answer. However, sometimes when you ask young people, they're going to immediately choose gold. But if you would vision a pound of feathers versus a pound of gold could be one bar. A pound of feathers is going to be so many feathers, right? So my point is this: you can have so many different things adding up that eventually it will add up to a certain weight that will affect society. So if you start throwing so many things at people, one, it disorients them. It disorientates them. They don't know where this is coming from. So when they try to articulate, yo, it's coming from there, it's easy to make them look stupid, because it's like, nah, that's not where it's coming from, because if it was coming from there, well, you're right and you're wrong. It is coming from there. But it's also coming from there and there and there and there and there and all over the place. And you can't, there's so many different think tanks, right? Giving their ideas. That's on the payroll of these governments, to tell them how to disorient the people. So we don't know that we're under attack legally. We are under attack legally. These laws were changed with the NSC, National Security Council directives. National Security Council directives. So if you look at National Security Council 10.2 and you look at National Security Council 10.5, you will see that they legalized psychological warfare and they legalized propaganda. Now, I think it would be pretty asinine for them to be so straightforward that they say, hey, these tools are used on you. They can be used on you. So we say, no, these tools are to be used so that the foreign entities, and at the time, that foreign entity that we're talking about is Russia, so we use the Cold War so that we can throw our enemies off. Well, it kind of feels like when you say our enemies, you kind of, right now it feels like, am I your enemy, man? Did I do something? No, we just don't want the enemy to know what we're doing. Yeah, but I don't know what you're doing. We'll be back right after these messages. What? So, by them legally being able to do propaganda under the guise of throwing our enemies off, and also being able to run psychological gambits, the biggest loser are the citizens of that government, in this case, the U.S. citizens, because I'm talking to you. Mobile's in the house. What's up, Mobile? So no, women are not having children because there's so many different reasons and why these women are not having children. They're not having children because some of the ingredients that we should be protected from the Food and Drug Administration, the unnecessary preservatives and additives, do contribute to sterilization. Hello? And yet, these are the same departments that are supposed to be protecting us from these type of dangers. And yet, do they? They do not. That was a rhetorical question. Do not fix your mouth to answer me when I ask you a rhetorical question. That's just one. Right? So if they attack wages, they attack they know how the family is being oriented, is set up, right? Because they encourage that same value for centuries. The family. And then we've got to a point where they said, all right, we don't know how to slow down the growth of the human being. You want to know something strange? It's not strange, but you want to know something interesting. Let me say that. When you look at the Sumerian tablets, the Sumerian tablets talk about this happening millennia ago. Thousands of years ago, they wrote how the people of the planet, they were called the Ajiji. These were workers, just like yourself. The burden was so heavy. And by the way, we could be headed right back to the same place because there won't be enough jobs, and much of the infrastructure of the world will be consolidated, right? Because things are being simplified, things are being automated. When I say simplified, instead of having 1,000 different supermarkets, when I say simplified, now you have mega stores that will serve your food, like deliver food to you. The biggest mega store is Walmart, right? So they're just putting, and they didn't even start out as a supermarket. That's what's crazy. So you could go into the store and they could get everything, but their presence is so impactful in society now that they have to be sustained, right? Everybody else could die off. Huh? Your smaller supermarkets. So please, Mr. D'Agostino, move closer to me. Yeah, Mr. D'Agostino's getting up out of here. There would be no Mr. D'Agostino. There would be no smaller people, smaller outfits. They will be either absorbed. That's the game plan anyway. So everyone will have a place in society. I'm telling you, this is going to happen. And if you do not have a place will be assigned to you. And this is what we call universal basic income. But in order for you to get universal basic income, it may not start off with some continuous, with some requirements, but it will eventually get to, okay, if you want your monthly rations from universal basic income. And you won't have a choice because there will be no other place to really work unless you have a situation where you don't need that. But for the ones that do need that, they will have housing for you. They will call it something fancy. It will be a concentration camp. Never mind that though. They'll call it something fancy. This is coming. And not because I read a book or I heard the voice of God. I'm just using simple ass logic. Mind you, I went to public school. So I could be off. I doubt it. Not when Sam Altman invested $13 million of his own money into universal basic income when no one asked him to do that shit at all. I doubt that I'm wrong. Not when Klaus Schwab is telling you you're going to be out here eating bugs. If these people are saying these type of things, then maybe you should take what they're saying seriously and give it some type of consideration. I want to finish my story about the Ajiji. In the Sumerian tablets, it says that the Ajiji were crying out about how they basically was like, yo, the work is too hard. Then the sky gods basically heard their cry and created another being to do the work. But these people started procreating so fast, they got so loud down here and disruptive down here on Earth that the sky gods was like, yo, let's just wipe them out. Now, the reason I say it's interesting is because it appears that this is happening yet again, right? So we may not have the sky gods like they had in the Sumerian tablets. Not that I don't think that extraterrestrial beings are here. I do very much believe they are here. I believe they've been here for quite a long time, and they just have not been, they didn't want to be known. So where you got stories about Dracula, and they just made it into fairy tales. But were there people down here drinking blood? Well, your first indication that people were down here drinking blood is the fact that the Christian church makes you symbolically drink blood and eat the flesh of people every month as a ritual, as you are dressed in white. That might give you maybe a small indication that, hey, there might be people down here drinking people's blood and eating people's flesh. I mean, I do it on Sundays, but it's just symbolic. Is it now? Let us get back to Trump and this horrible Operation Freedom. Operation Freedom was stupid because Operation Fury was stupid. It was egotistical. It was an egotistical reaction, right? Okay. You're going to take control of the Strait and you're going to charge these people $2 million to pass through? Fine. Then we'll block the Strait. Now nobody gets through. Ha! How do you like those apples? Jackass. It's almost like nobody was strategizing, but how could you strategize if you keep firing the people the best people who could create a strategy, and then the other people quit. And why did they quit? Why do you think some Navy admirals would just quit impromptu? Why do you think that? They had to know this was going to be a disaster, and they didn't want any parts of it. But so many people thought this was going to be a disaster, and yet we still went through with it because Israel was fixated on becoming the greater Israel. And they're still fixated, and they're still attacking Lebanon, and they're going to take southern Lebanon. And sometimes you have to give up a pawn because you can't go around willy-nilly moving your pieces for every, not that you want to. And you know that giving up a pawn is going to have an impact. But you can't even play this game without losing some pieces. So it's not like, Iran is losing a rook, or China and Russia's losing a queen by allowing them to take southern Lebanon. What I'm saying is, you have to choose your battles, literally, in this sense. You have to choose your battles. And that's a horrible way to look at life, right? Because you're watching people die and saying, you're looking at your inventory of missiles and trying to see, is it worth going through based off your resources? So you have to make some hard decisions. Am I going to let people die? And in this case, the people of South Lebanon, if they can't protect themselves, they will die. Unfortunately. Just like the Palestinians. So this is horrible, that these animals in Israel were given land in the first goddamn place. Shout out to Roby. Shout out to Uncle Andy. I could barely see some of these things, but I can see the icons. That's how I know it's Roby. That's how I know it's Uncle Andy. Wow. Damn. Talk about unnecessary. I'm reading a Roby's comment. Like, some of the things that we get, Tropicana. This one bugs me out, right? When I found out that they used the dye from cockroach guts, the dye that they get is from cockroach guts that they use in Tropicana orange juice. So what is the need? What is the need for that? Immediately I stopped drinking fucking Tropicana. What was the need? So to me, it's like, okay, this is why I say these are not Homo sapiens sapiens. Because it's like they want to slowly incorporate, not just indoctrinate, but they want to slowly incorporate things that the things they really want you to do. Like Klaus Schwab said, oh, people are going to be eating bugs. And then it's going to come out that, hey, man, you've been eating bugs. You've been eating bugs, right? This shit is nothing new. You've been doing this. You've been doing that. And we didn't know because we've gotten away from the simplicity of making our own food from scratch. Oh, there you go. Uncle Andy says why they do it. Now my thing is this, Uncle Andy. All right, let me just read what Uncle Andy says so you guys know. He said pasturing changes the natural color of the juice, so they color it. All right. And my thing is this, Unc. That is reasonable. But why color it with cockroach guts? Was there nothing else to use? Was my like that's I think where my protest is coming from. Money. Cheap. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It could be a cheaper solution. I mean, they could get thousands and millions of cockroaches. Just disgusting. Yes, I think Roby hit it on the head. They save the money and don't care what they feed the sheeple. Target emoji. Here it is. You know who's the real winners here? The people who never changed in society, the Mormons. I mean, I don't know if they're the real winners, but in this particular case, when it came to vaccines and stuff like that, oh, they are the real winners. Right? Because the lights could go out now, and I can tell you this, they can know how to survive. Will they? I don't know if they will, because if you ever watched The Walking Dead, you just had herds of the fucking Walking Dead walking around. And when a herd overruns a camp, like how much could you really do if 5,000 people showed up to your compound? I'm pretty sure the Mormons got some guns, but you don't got enough to hold off 5,000 people. So your little ranch will be overrun. Right? And this will continue to happen as people try not to be a part of any government concentration camp. They will go from one place to the other, causing destruction. This is inevitable, I do believe. But think about how many people will sign up to be government enforcers, right? Because if they're saying, yo, if you are chosen to be a government enforcer, then you will have shelter of your own. You don't have to share your barracks with nobody. It'll just be you and your family, and we will provide provisions for you. Right? Electricity is free. Internet is free. Your children will be separated from the others. We will not be even with the others. You will be separated from them. But it is your job to be an enforcer, to go out for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. How do you beat this type of? We don't have the weaponry. The only way we can beat them is we have to decide many of us will die, but we attack all at one time and take everything fucking down. So it's kind of like what Iran did. It's like, all right, cool. If we can't live, then nobody live. Iran just started attacking the UAE, started attacking all the bases, right? And these are not people that they necessarily had any static with, any beef. But it's like, nah, if I can't live, you can't live. Then everybody backs off. Hey, let's just talk about this. Let's be reasonable here, guys. What the fuck you mean, let's be reasonable? I didn't even start this. You killed my father when he wanted peace. He had set up a fatwa where we could not even have nuclear program, and you're telling the rest of the world that we're building nuclear program. He is the head guy in charge over here, and he put out a fatwa that we cannot have nuclear programs. So there was no need for none of this, and you killed him. Guess what? I am not my father. There will be no fatwa in that we won't have nuclear programs. I will restart the nuclear program now because obviously we need one to protect us from whoever you are. When I say whoever you are, clearly these are not Homo sapiens sapiens. Clearly. And you're going to see, as soon as the system is placed and they figure out like you don't have enough power, you don't have hidden weapons anywhere that could take over, then they will show you. Then they're going to make the announcement about extraterrestrial aliens and all of this crazy shit. It was dumb. They was here the whole time. There's many different entities down here. Maybe you're thinking about just one entity, like bug-looking insect humanoids. And I think that's where you're messing up. From what I hear, that is one description of an extraterrestrial entity, but that doesn't mean that's all of them. There is something called the Galactic Federation. Why would it be called the Galactic Federation if it wasn't variations? If it wasn't some form of variation, it wouldn't be a federation. Well, I'm gonna get to work, but listen, this was an epic. I just wanted to come on because I heard, as soon as I turned on the news this morning, they saying Trump announced he's pausing Operation Freedom. I just wanted to hear the rhetoric. The rhetoric is out of control with how we were successful. You gotta listen. It is sad. Yet you can't stop listening, right? You just listen to Pete Hegseth go on about how good a job we done. We've accomplished nothing except death. Many people died. We did not get what we want. Gas is $5 on the East Coast. On the West Coast, I remember back in the days when gas was like $4 in New York. and I drove through Malibu, California. I was in California at the time, and I was riding down the PCH-1, and I dipped off into Malibu so that I could. Actually, I was going to the beach. With a famous entertainer's daughter. I had met her somewhere. I don't know where the hell I met her. In the street somewhere. I think she just like dealing with hood rat and ghetto dudes, because there was no reason for us to be talking to each other. And she said, let me take you to the beach. So we went to the beach out there. Anyway, gas was like $9 out there. Damn. Then I realized, oh, whenever gas is like $4 or $5 in New York, gas is crazy in California. And then when you go to Malibu, well, that's a different entity altogether, Malibu. So now, because of this fiasco, diesel is, and not just diesel, all the derivatives of petroleum are behind in expectation. So the logistics is delayed, is what I'm telling you. According to the laws of supply and demand, the prices of this is going to cause the prices of everything to go up because it's delayed. So it's slowing down farming because fertilizer is one of those derivatives, unbeknownst to me, until I studied that fertilizer. I thought fertilizer was just only cow dung. And I'm like, hey, we could get cow dung anywhere. But I guess it's mixed in with some derivatives of petroleum. Then I looked at all the other things that are made from petroleum, plastics and different types of clothing, spandex. So many different things use this oil to exist, and things that we rely on. So in fact, if we did run out of oil, our entire infrastructure is set up on the same oil, our medicines. Yeah, Roby. They've normalized screwing up the people. Yeah, screwing up the people. Yeah. And they come out as the winners. And this is what happens when they suppress evolution. So in reality, I don't think we were supposed to rely on petroleum so long. But the people that control that particular industry wanted to get as much out of the situation as possible before we moved on. You see how Bill Gates he stole the IP for Microsoft and created and branded Microsoft? And then the whole world was impacted by Microsoft. We all got on Microsoft. Until it hit a ceiling and it was like, all right, well, now what? We can't go. You can't do anything else more with Microsoft. It's over. They hit a ceiling. What does he do? Does he go and just retire in Miami? No, his brain is working. I can't be a evil villain if I don't have something to be evil with. You understand? He announces he's going into vaccine creations. What? Who the fuck are you, bro? Never mind that. I'll be creating your vaccines from here out. Amazing. Right? Then, as he feels he has that all under control, he announces that he's going into the artificial food. What is going on? You make food now? Good sir, I did not say I make food. I said I make artificial food. Food. No, good sir, how could I make food? That is absurd. What I make is beyond food. It's beyond meat. If you get my drift. So while they play these distraction games of white officers killing black kids and silly shit to distract us so that we could rightfully protest and go up in an uproar, they're secretly designing science and additives that can go into your food, because you're not looking over there when this happens, right? Kid gets shot for no reason at all. That shit is on tape. That shit is playing 100 times in the morning, 200 times in the evening. It's plastered all over social media. That's the perfect time for them to go past the patent for some type of nanotechnology that can edit your DNA if ingested. You see what I'm saying? This is where we're at with shit. That's the perfect time for the law to be passed, for the FDA to pass the license for that shit. That's the perfect time. I'll keep you guys updated on my new channel. I haven't published it yet. When I publish the new Roku channel, I'll let you guys know. What I want to do is get a Discord going or somewhere we can chat. That's what I'm working on now. Somewhere where we can chat, doing live shows. If you haven't heard, last night I made the announcement. I left the company that I was with. When I first signed up to Roku, I signed up through another company. And that company was charging me like a lot. It started out like $250 a month, but it started getting crazy after that. Then it moved up $500 a month. Then it moved up, and the shit they was charging me for, I felt it was taking advantage But every little thing, suppose I wanted data. They started charging me to see my own data. Like, oh, if you want to see your data, then that's another plan. Like, they got totally crazy. And I'm like, yo, I've called them several times. I'm like, yo, this is unfair to the people that's supporting you. But they didn't care. And then the last straw was when I asked them to, I said, hey, can you add a feature so that when I go live, that the people could chat, but they could sign in through Google? He said, oh, we could do anything you want. We could do that. We could do that. Now, I spoke to him a couple of times about this, but when I was ready, because he told me, like, yo, just give me, like, I think he, in his favor, I think he said 4,000. I said, yo, bro, 4,000 is crazy, right? I said, I'll give you 2. He said, we'll talk about it when you're ready. So when I was ready, he says, I said, I'm ready to do it. He says, all right, just give me like 15,000 and just give me like $1,000 a month for. What are you talking about? Yeah, what you're asking to do. Stop. What I'm asking you to do, I don't think you understand that I have a master's degree in information systems, and I know it's not worth no fucking 15,000. I know this. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you it's not. And a lot of shit I'm asking you to do, I could do my fucking self, but I'm paying you because I don't necessarily have the time. Like, I just want you to do it. But this is ridiculous. What your response to me is ridiculous and it's disrespectful. So we go back and forth. I believe I threw some obscenities at him. I hope I did. He's a fucking jerk off. And I will be doing a campaign to tell people not to use that company when I'm ready, which will be soon. It will be soon. So last weekend, I was supposed to meet with you guys that Friday night or something, right? And I didn't meet with you guys. And I said, I'm not even doing a show. You know where I was at? I was just building shit. Building shit. And I built that shit, right? I built it. So now I got my own data. I can see who's watching where. And I don't have to pay somebody else to do it, like to an extra fucking 250. They were totally out of control. So I gather by the end of June, I'll be ready to publish, because, I mean, I'm pretty much ready, but I got to go through my own quality assurance. I am my own quality assurance. That means I have to test this and make sure that it works so that when we go live, there's no bugs and all of this crazy stuff there, right? And I want a place that we have our own silo. We'll probably use a couple of things. Just stay tuned. I want us to be able to mobilize, and I want us to be able to help each other. An example of that. Sometimes people are ready to do what it takes, they just don't know how to start, right? A good example is if I said, hey, reach out to your congressperson while you're watching my show. And you think it's a good idea, but you really like, yo, I don't have the time to do that shit. Even though you do, you're not disciplined and set up for that type of, let me sit down and write my congressperson. The reality is that you've never been close to that type of discipline to do some shit like that. But if something was already pre-made for you, or if you don't mind making a phone call to one person and they add you to a list or some shit like that, hey, I could do that. But actually sitting down and formulating words and then I'm not gonna do that shit. I just like to hit the like button and cheer you on when you talking that shit. But in reality, I'm not doing none of that shit you talking about. I get it. And we have to consider these type of people. Facts. So I want to create something that would allow people to do the least but still mobilize, because clearly we're under attack. And if we wait for the moment that the Gestapo shows up at your house to actually take your kids, because they've been doing this, right? They've been doing test runs and on us, experiments, taking our kids, right? People, all of this shit has been happening, but it hasn't been happening to you. So when it doesn't happen to you personally, you don't tend to care as much. But let's not act like there haven't been people who send their kids to school. Their kid says one thing, and next thing you know, Child Protective Services is at the door, right? It got so crazy that the government was able to ask your children, do they feel confused about their sexuality, in grades that were inappropriate. Meaning, first of all, I didn't have sexual education until 7th grade in health class. They called it, what was it? I forgot the name of the class, but it was broken up into 4 semesters. And I think the first 2 semesters was like sexual education, and then the second one was like home ec, the banana bread, which was way more exciting than us talking about herpes and carrying around a bag of flour for a week acting like it's my child. But nonetheless, I say that to say, we didn't do that shit to 7th grade, bro. So why would you ask some fucking 2nd graders, 3rd graders, if they're confused about their sexuality? In fact, that was the government that was out of order. But also, depending on what your child said, they had the ability to move forward with hormone blockers, right? Legally, took away your rights. If you disagree, they taking the child out your home. I mean, shit got really crazy. Ridiculous, fast. Yeah. I think that should be banned. Fucking female gym teachers teaching sex ed, gotta stop. We gotta stop the bullshit. We gotta knock it off. Some lady named Miss fucking K who only wears fucking tracksuits all day and night, special occasions, bar mitzvahs, baptisms, birthday parties, tracksuits, all of it. She's banned. If I'm in government, you're banned. First fucking executive order. No masculine females who are gym teachers to teach sexual ed. Pictures. Yeah, knock it the fuck off. She doesn't like guys. She hates men in actuality, right? You see her at church, she in a fucking tracksuit. Yeah, the stupid fucking cut. Oh, I hate lesbian haircuts. I hate them shits. Why you just can't be a regular lesbian? What's with the fucking stupid ass haircuts with the like? I hate the variations of lesbians. My best lesbian is the lesbian who's still feminine. Although she's the worst lesbian because she gives heterosexual guys hope, right? So he's out here, he's trying to bang her. He's like, nah, she's not fully lesbian, bro. I could bring her back. I don't know. My new form of entertainment. My new form of entertainment is watching guys on YouTube or Instagram try to bed studs. That is hilarious. Yo, the studs get so irritated. Huh? They be calling the guy with, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're so weird, bro. You don't see? I'm a stud. I'm a whole stud. You, my lady, have vagina and titty balls. Knock it off. You got the real deal down there. You got the real deal. You got to knock this shit off. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. I think lesbians are ruining the fabric of America. I do. The fuck is going on? What's happening to the homes, the families of the traditional family? I don't feel as strong as we need to stop them from doing it, right? I don't think we need to do anything like, yo, we need to, no, I don't think we need to do anything. I'm just expressing what I see and how I feel. I think the natural family is being depreciated, right? The father and the mother. And I think things are being overly sexualized too at the same time. So and that's been normalized. So it's like, yo, just go out there and have a bunch of sex, right? And the one entity, which is the church and religion, that was able to talk to you about these things, right? They had to say so, and it was like, hey, everybody, that's a sin to be having sex outside of marriage. No, only the church, only the religious institutions, but the religious institutions cannot be fucking trusted tell you the truth, right? So why can't that conversation just be logic and reason, right? Like, no, I don't think you should be out here just having willy-nilly sex, bro. Like, never mind any religious person waiting on them to tell you this. We should not be doing that. But all the music, especially in the black community, we've come out with some of the most ridiculous fucking music to sexualize our culture. And we paid a price for it. And why do we do it? We do it because the man in the suit said he would give us money. He would let us be seen. He said he'd let us be famous if we made this type of music. Well, he's going to weaponize that music. If you make that song, he's going to weaponize that shit and encourage more people that listen to it to normalize this type of toxic behavior. And this is when you get a song like, "Where Do You See My Dick?" And the song is so catchy that you have children singing this type of conscious garbage. Garbage. Fucking. Ugh. You really want your children singing this damn song? Think about it, because they're going to pay the price. I can tell you that. They're going to pay the price. And the price could be a healthy pregnancy. But I can tell you this. She wasn't meant to have that child without a partner, because it took two people to make that baby. It's going to take two people to raise that child. And it's not about just the money. I'm talking about there's love involved. There's attention involved. There's guidance involved. It's not about, oh, she wants half of my check a month. Nigga, can you show up to give this child some goddamn attention, love? Can you do that? That was never your plan. So I don't think we should be waiting for religious institutions to emphasize the importance of normalizing the classical family structure. No. The religious institutions are the same ones that okayed homosexuality when the pressure was on. You see? The pressure got on. They said, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, according to your fucking religion, it should matter if niggas is poking each other in the butt cheeks. It should matter, because there's stories in here where he done annihilated people for less, black man, white man, all men. He done annihilated people for less. Remember that time the angels went to Sodom? Fucking Lot was hanging around with nothing to do. Why he was sitting at the gates of the city, I don't know. Don't ask me that. He should have been at fucking work. He has kids. Regardless, the text say he's out here bullshitting around at the gate. I used to knew right then and there he was a clown. Then he tried to act like he had pull in the city. He didn't have no pull. First of all, why do you live in a homosexual city? There's all this fucking space out here. Land grab any place you want. You like, no. Let's go live over there where the ravaging homosexuals live at. Yeah, they go to his house and try to have sex with the angels. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Gomorrah, yeah. Shit got crazy. Lot offered up his virgin daughters. Nobody wanted his young ass daughters. These are gay men you're talking to, Lot. What the fuck would make you think they want your virgin daughters? And the Angels had to, in fact, smite the goddamn city because of their deviance. Now, I don't think I'm at a place where I'm ready to smite anyone for being a homosexual. I'm not at that place. However, I am at a place where I would like to verbally acknowledge that this deviance is having an effect on society, and not necessarily in a good way. So it doesn't mean that I hate the person, that I don't want to be friends or family with the person. What it means is I don't want to individualize this culture that is being marketed and branded for the purpose of depopulation. That is what I'm saying. So if you could take yourself out of him, like, oh, you don't like lesbians? First of all, I never said I will take a fucking lesbian to Pound Town. You got to watch your mouth. Take your silly ass to Pound Town, lady. But at the same time, I know this cannot be this can't be good for our society if we are to sustain. The problem is, anytime you bring up conversations like this, if they're not articulated in the right way, then you have another think tank that comes behind and mixes up your whole narrative and makes it seem like, oh, these people hate, it should be a crime to hate homosexuals. These people hate transgenders. Why? Because I don't want a guy dressed up like a female taking another female on the mat, slamming her around in this sport that he should not be competing in. Compete with other men of your gender. Your gender doesn't change because you verbalize, hey, my gender's changed. I'm no longer a guy. I'm a girl now. That's not how this shit works. Uncle Andy says, excuse me. Uncle Andy says LGB got hijacked into radical group. Yeah. Most want to be left alone. I do believe that. Uncle Andy's saying that the lesbian, gay, bisexual community, because they've always been quiet into themselves. I mean, there was a point in history with the Harvey Milk situation. Harvey Milk had to get involved, but that's because I do think they might have been getting beat up, and that might have been the start of a psychological a psyop right there, fucking Harvey Milk, right? But what was it? The Scarlet. They've had some operations in America, and I'm forgetting the one I'm thinking about, where they were searching for communists, and then they were searching for homosexuals, right? America was a wild place, and I'm talking about this shit. This shit happened like 70 years ago, bro. 80 years ago. Wasn't even that long ago. We went from them hunting down homosexuals to liberating and encouraging the deviant behavior. Now, I don't think anyone, how I really feel, I don't think you should be fucking proud that I don't think there's anything to be proud about, right? Okay, you munched the carpet. Good for fucking you, right? What is there to be proud about? Huh? So that campaign right there is definitely a psyop. They use the colors of the highest frequency attached to the most diabolical deviancy. It's a deviancy. That's what it is. It doesn't mean you have to hate the person. It's a deviancy. That person have a deviancy, right? We have degenerates in our family who take drugs. Do we hate them? No, we still fucking love them. Even though they will rob your place silly. They will rob that shit silly. Cannot leave them in a room untrusted. Do not have them house sit. You will come back to an empty fucking house. But these are degenerates. And it is no different with someone who's decided to become a homosexual. You still love them. It's just that is their deviancy. They did not take to really having sex with the opposite sex. It's not their thing. There's no reason to go around beating them up or cursing them out or any silly shit like that. However, I think we have to get to the point where we say out loud, you know, it's a deviance. Yeah, I know. It's my fucking thing. Okay, as long as you fucking know it's a deviance. Yeah, I don't care. I'm good. If you like it, I love it. I'm not gonna throw you a fucking ticket parade though. I think that's where shit got crazy. A ticket parade for being a fucking deviant sexual person? Are you shitting me? What do I throw you a parade for? No, because he's gay and he's proud. That's not a good fucking thing. It's like somebody that's smoking crack. And listen, I smoke crack, that's what I do, and I'm proud of it. Yay! Now, Archie Bunker would express this totally different. Okay, and he says, let's ask Archie Bunker about it. We will not ask Archie Bunker about it. Me and him are not saying the same thing at all. I'm saying the truth. He's gonna blanket everything and call people all type of ad hominem attacks, and I don't see the use of calling people words. There's no need for that. I'm saying what needs to be said, right? So the encouragement of the deviancy, the liberation of people's interest. Hey, I was just interested in. Hey, go ahead, go ahead. So when you don't, this is slowing down, which I think this is what they wanted. This type of behavior slows down people from getting married, having kids traditionally. And I think that was the plan the entire time. If we encourage homosexuality, homosexuals don't have children. It's just that people are scared to say what I'm saying, right? Because your life can be affected. You can get fired from your job. Oh, he's talking. This is why you have to know how to articulate yourself. You get up here talking like Archie Bunker, and then it's recorded. You could be blackballed from society, blackballed from jobs. It's not a game in the world right now, and it's definitely not a game in America. So tread lightly and know how to articulate yourself. You better learn this English language before you get up here on this goddamn contraption and start running your lips. Or you're going to find out the hard way. Undermining the foundation of the traditional nucleic family. The traditional nucleic family. Father, mother, child. It's become mother, child, right? Some subcultures, they're encouraging just go out here, have sex. I watched the show yesterday. This dude had 25 kids with 23 women. He said he always chose to have children with women who could take care of themselves. Yeah. No. He was a black man from Atlanta, Georgia, from the ghetto of Atlanta. He was born in the ghettos of Atlanta, Georgia. Black man. "25 kids by 23 women is ridiculous, because we just need you to be, that child needs both parents' attention, bro." I think we've way past that point in society, right? And we're getting further and further away of that foundational traditional family that Uncle Andy's talking about. And what does that mean for society? Because clearly we have not been doing a bang up fucking job. So is this place going to get worse? If that is the mentality that is normalized, just get out here. We're not in a good place as a species. I can tell you that. And I think at some point, anybody would think, should we just zero this shit out and just start again? And I think that's what's going on. I think they're thinking, let's just zero this shit out and try again. I'm out too. There was certain topics that I learned when I spoke about up here that people would get really sensitive about and they get upset as if I'm saying something wrong. It wasn't one topic, it was several topics. What that taught me was that most Homo sapiens don't want to hear the truth. They have created their delusional reality and they want to live in that delusion. That I should in no way, shape, or form disrupt that delusion. And guess what? They have 1,000 different other options that they can entertain themselves and give their attention to if I decide to disrupt their delusion. But then I guess I can ask myself, why would you come to my page? And this is what I talk about on my page. What would make you come back? Because there's something there that's confirming, that's validating the words that's coming out of my mouth. There's something in you that's still connecting to it. You can't answer that. I've questioned your gods. I've questioned your morality. You get frustrated, you come back. I'm still talking the same shit. Nothing's changed. Roby says he identifies as a rich man. Where's his Lamborghini? I think wealthy would get you a Lamborghini. Rich. That's different. I'm rich. I'm rich for different reasons. I'll give you one of the things that make me rich. When I pull in my driveway, my daughter comes out the house and meets me in the driveway to give me a hug. She's 14. You know how hard it is for most 14-year-olds to come out, for a father to get a 14-year-old to come out? He didn't even ask her to do that shit. Huh? I come in the house, my wife looks down the balcony, downstairs, to greet me. With a connection in her eyes that only me and her could describe. I think that is one of the things that makes me rich. Now we will work on being wealthy. Now that is just one of the things that make me rich. I don't know what makes you rich. You understand? Whether you have time off and you don't have to go to work and you can sit outside and play with grass, that may make you rich. You understand? You can do that shit nobody else can do. That bring you love. That bring you purpose, joy. Whether you get to dedicate time to children in an after-school program and they expect you, and you can see somebody actually learning from your volunteer service or from your energy, that may make you rich because nobody else was able to do that. So there's different things that make us rich. But it is time for the financial. And I think the window for financial independence is still there. Don't get me wrong. That shit is closing though. So my conversation about everything that's going on is just really a reminder to us, all right, whatever you're going to do, whatever it is, whether you're in real estate and you're going to buy those properties, and you keep saying, yo, I'm going to buy these properties, yo, I'm going to learn how to do real estate, whatever it is, do that shit now, because my narrative, my conversations are about we don't have much time left. That's what my conversation, if you have not picked that up, it's about, when I tell you everything that they're doing, it's about, yo, whatever the fuck you're gonna do that shit right now, god damn it. Right now. He says, I never owned a pair of Jordans. My kids did, though, while I wore falling apart $20 Walmart shoes. Hey, man, actually, they're $29. And I bought two pair. Bought two pair. Yeah. Fuck that. I'm proud of my Walmart sneakers. And I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I'm fascinated by some of the things you guys are into. It's amazing that you have that ability and that freedom to do those things. And I think it comes down to purpose, man. And if you could find, you could tap into something that gives you purpose, whether it's graffiti writing, whether it's baking, crocheting. I look at Cash Patel, and I look at Pete Hegseth, you know, and you think, what is your purpose? Because it's definitely not to be the director of the FBI or the defense secretary. That's not your purpose. You guys are fucking goofballs that don't even belong in these positions. One is allegedly a drunk, flying all over the world on the taxpayers' dime, acting like he was on the fucking ice with the teams. We're gonna get into that, man. I've hit my 2-hour limit almost, 49. I think it's time for me to get up out of Dodge. Damn. Damn. Well, that's a whole nother show, Roby. One that I've done before, right? I looked at the portfolio of my work. I've talked about a lot of different topics, from Monsanto, from the pesticides to the corn. Who remembers the shows I did about corn in length, on why we started growing corn, why we started using the corn for high fructose corn syrup? Then I talked about the adverse effects of using the high fructose corn syrup, which made everybody sick and gave everybody chronic illness and inflammation, which only encouraged the pharmaceutical industry. Crazy. I would love to give you encouraging words, Roby. I don't know what to say. I would love to say, hey, you'll figure it out. What does that mean? I think it's just words, right? Birds are fucking falling out the sky. Bees are dying. I don't know if that would be true if I said that. But I think I can say this. Sometimes when you hit a wall, it encourages us to think outside of the box. And 1 + 1 is 3. Meaning the predicament plus you thinking outside of the box caused a third reality, which would have only come about if the predicament and the adverse effect of that predicament came together. So I would love to say it's going to work out, but I don't know. Can't get up here acting like a guru saying it's going to be okay and you'll figure it out. We will see. Keep us posted on the bees, Roby. Shout out to Uncle Andy. Shout out to Winter. Shout out to Mobile. I don't know who else was in the house. I didn't really see. But just in case, shout out to B Dolo. Shout out to Huey. Shout out to the Truth Lady. Shout out to Pretty Divine. Shout out to Original Man. I can't always see who's in the house, but shout out to everybody. Shout out to Frankie Blanco. That being said, it's a rainy day. Let me go start my day. Gratitude and appreciation, yes, sir. Peace out.